Hey guys, welcome back to the Honey Wagon. I am your host, Walker Lot, here with Zach Flowers. Our third co-host is not here at the moment. He is not here just because he didn't watch the episode in time, and that's on him. But
He's having
we're
some phone responding issues.
absolutely. It is what it is. Sometimes it just happens, right? But we're here to kind of break down the new House of the Dragon episode. It's kind of why one of the reasons we kind of came together was love a lot of things, but really Game of Thrones in general is one of the big reasons, right? We're all here. And so basically, we're gonna break it down. It's episode 3.1. The new season just came out. All about the Battle of the Gullet and other things, of course, but I believe it is Sultan Sea, Fire and Blood is the name of the episode, I believe, on the top of my head. But I think a great episode to start it off, man. Firstly, I guess, how are you? How are you doing? And just, I guess, the overall thoughts firstly on the episode.
I'm good. I feel like we've had a bit of a dryish spell when it comes to these shows lately. I know I watched the Spider Noir show, which was a fun
Mhm.
watch, pretty quick. But other than that, it just kind of it felt pretty empty when it comes to my TV watching. I was rewatching stuff. Obviously, the World Cup's going on, so I started watching the Us versus the World documentary. Finished
Yep.
that today. Really good. It makes you just really motivated to see this team win.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, it's just nice to be back in the world. I know I texted you whenever it started. I didn't tell you this about when the credits were about to start, like the opening sequence. I
Yeah.
closed my eyes just waiting to hear that song again. And when I heard the drums being really heavy, I
Mm.
was like, okay, that's new.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it was enough of a change to that. It'll be funny if I go back and watch a season two episode and it's the same thing and I'm just wrong. But I
Yeah.
thought the change to the open was really cool. But yeah, just excited to be back in the world.
No doubt. I think you have to be right. I think it has to be different because the subwoofer that I have in right now, those when those beats and those drums were going, it was totally different. At least I think it at least started at a different time in the song,
Hmm.
at least. But no, yeah, I think it's a great time. Uh, a great kind of lull, right? Like you said, like I haven't really been tuning into anything. I never got to finish Spider Noir. That's something I need to go back to and finish. But I've been watching through Smallville. That's kind of the big thing I've been watching right now. But besides that, like that's it. And of course, World Cup. Hence the hat. I was in Houston and they gave out these World Cup hats at the thing, and that was my only
That's sweet.
merch that I got from the event. Shout out Netherlands, Sweden, 5-1 win for the Dutch. Anyways, but yeah, all the soccer going on. We're about to hit the big time of Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day came out last week. House of Dragon starts this week, and I think we have Spider-Man and Supergirl next week. Like, there's a lot of stuff coming in the summer that's about to be popping. But yeah, this
It's
was kind of
ramping up.
yeah, it's about to ramp up massively. But I think this is a great thing to kind of start that ramping up. Is where hey, we knew all of last season, right? It was kind of leading towards something, right? It was kind of like just build up and build up or drama, and then like okay, there was always talks, right, where the Battle of the Gullet was going to be the last episode of last season, but they moved it to this one and it kind of started it off this season. So a lot of people in, last 2 years ago were like, man, like that was it. Like that's all we're waiting for at the end of that season finale. And now here it is. And you now see that payoff, right? Where we can go through it scene by scene, but overall, I think for for the season that everyone knew was like this is the season for the battles, the action, the big things happening, right? I don't know if we'll get every single battle. Like I've, looked through Twitters of the people that actually know the lore a little bit more. I don't think we're going to get all of them, but the main ones were kind of in season 4. You see where this is going, like who's going to kind of win. This is like the heat of battle is going to be this season. And I think this was a great episode to start off with the Battle of the Gullet. Um, I'll let you kind of start it off. Overall thoughts, good vibes. I get if you want to rate it, you can. We never really talked through this. What are your overall kind of thoughts on this first episode?
Yeah, I think ratings wise, I think I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way. We'll establish I guess for shows, I want to do like a 10
Yep.
point
Yep.
star scale, whatever.
Let's do it.
I think for this episode, I felt it was a good like a 8.5 probably. I know
Yeah.
I know a lot of people might have it higher because obviously the sequence at the end of battle was really amazing. Just pretty stuff you haven't really seen before. A lot of times I was looking at it thinking about, Lord of the Rings, all those big battles that they had there. You
Yeah.
don't really see a bunch of those on water. and it was cool that this was a pretty unique one that you really hadn't seen since like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Hmm.
Um, and I think overall, just it felt like a lot of the things at the beginning before the battle were a lot of setup for obviously the rest of the season and
Yeah.
a lot of back and forth between like um, for some reason I'm forgetting the
I mean, you like I guess this is little spoilers, but just like it
yeah
was a lot of like setup where like okay, at the end of last season two, right? It was like I forget the name of the actress. Uh the younger sister finds Sheep Stealer and and they're like,
yes
okay, awesome. She's there. She finds her dragon, and then they go a little bit more into it this at the start of this season, right? That pays off
hmm
dividends at the end of the episode. And then
hmm
it's like, okay, well then the whole promise that whatever an Allison makes at the end of the last season goes, okay,
yep
now that's big into this season because of the implication. So it's a lot of like everything that paid off last season at the end is kind of like it's like
hmm
the past and the present now. It's like it's the book is like kind of finished on those type of
yeah
storylines, but it's the finish of like what we thought was like, hey, what was going to happen with those things? We now know, but we also now know where the roads are going to go because of those consequences. But we're now going to see them, and I think they paid it off really well. I mean, I think the moments where like. Uh, not going into a little spoiler, so I'm going to try to say it for like overall right now. I think yes, you got your points to where like you have to build the story for other episodes, but it ultimately all led into like okay, I what probably 25-30 minutes of the episode was like the
hmm
battle. And you got that
yeah
payoff of like action upon action of like tense and stories and like even if you didn't know the lore it hit you hard and then like even if you knew the lore you see it going out and you're like dang like okay this is Game of Thrones. I think this was the episode where we haven't seen it since the end of last season of I mean Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which was amazing. We talked about it a long time, but like
hmm
that episode where he stands up and he's in the jousts and he's doing those things, like you feel like that's Game of Thrones, right? When um whatever his name is, the prince comes or right no the hand of the king at the time comes in is like I'll aid Sir Duncan, right? And you have that moment that you felt like this is Game of Thrones, right? I think you had moments back into this episode that you were like, yes, this
yeah
is what Game of Thrones is. It's, you know, the Game of Thrones. You live or die, right? And you have those moments in there that it's like there's consequences for your actions plus action that just no other show really can compete with, you know?
yeah and I think a lot of what you said to kind of lead into it made a
Yeah.
lot of sense too just with how the last season ended. Obviously I was really disappointed in the last season
Yeah.
because of the ending. I think a lot of the stuff that maybe I could have been more annoyed with, like the whole Damon being off on his own for the whole season, I would probably have been less bothered by it if it had crescendoed how it did in the original ending of the show, and then you get to see a little bit more of him, fighting in the battle to open this episode, and then it just feels like this should have kind of been the finale
Yes.
of last season, and I know I'm sure it's easier said than done,
Right.
but at the same time, like a lot of the setups in the last season came together, like Lannister going to get the Triarchy to come help, and that's a good cliffhanger. But at the same time, it's a 2 3 year cliffhanger,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things. But I just think overall it was really good. It was nice to see these characters again, and I think really my only biggest issues were just with having so much time away and having to see, oh yeah, this character's in this situation, and Allison's figuring this out, and oh, what's the relationship? Why is Aegon in this position? Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, but
Absolutely. I think it is like it was a lot of like there's just so much happening and then you forget that the show is like, you know, there's so many storylines and so many characters, right? There's not like, you know, you're like a normal show that's like five characters you have to care about. No, there's like 15 to 20, right? The whole storyline with the new dragon riders that are just by themselves, right? And you even have to worry about those guys because they have to set up other things down the line, right? And so you have so many plot points that are going around. I think they do land the plane though, and in a great fashion for episode one of like setting the tone of like, hey, remember like the Red Wedding and stuff like that, where your favorite characters, this Game of Thrones, you never know how it's going to end up. And it ends great. And so I think they land a plane. I will say, yeah, I think 9 out of 10. I was high-fiving myself, like I was cheering, like I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I wanted to see, right? Um, and yeah, I think this was a great episode. So okay, that is the non-spoiler territory for people who wanted to know. Now getting into the episode. Um, where do you want to start? You want to start with
Rip, rip my boy.
RIP? Okay, so let's just start with the gullet. The gullet was the battle that everyone was like, okay, this is the I think it's right one of the best sea battles ever recorded, and like one of the I think the longest battles, one of the best longest battles in Game of Thrones
I think
history.
it's I think it's supposed to be one of the dead like the
Right,
I don't know if I'm right. I think it's the deadliest sea battle in the like universe. I could
right.
be wrong. I could be just completely talking out of my ass, but
No, but I mean, it makes sense, right? I think they showed a
it
lot
definitely
of like,
felt like it.
yes, it was like, I think I have to rewatch. Our good friend Kenny Slayton is watching through Game of Thrones right now. And I know he just got through the Battle of the Bastards, and he would have to remind us of like, hey, how bloody was that? Because I remember it just being
Yeah.
insane, but I don't remember how like bloody it was. This was like violent. Like it was
Yeah,
every
like
time you see red on your screen, pretty much every single frame. Like they didn't shy away from the facts, and it was epic. And I think, they could have done the thing where right in Game of Thrones season 8, where it was a lot dark and like foggy everywhere. They did a pretty good
yeah.
job of like being able to
Oh
see
yeah.
every action. And like, yes, it's during the day, but like with all the cannon fire and the smoke, you could have hidden some CGI effects. They really
The
didn't.
camera,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And they went full thing where they just you kill this guy to this guy to this guy. Um, I think they did really, really well. And you saw like the downfall of one side, like because of their actions, right? Like I don't know who really wins this battle, right? That's going to be
Yeah.
something the outcry of it, but you kind of are like, because of course you're rooting for Rhaenyra, right? That's kind of the side you're
Yeah.
rooting for, and so you see I forget her name. Let me pull it up quickly. Goodness gracious. Uh,
Oh, Lohar.
Yes, Lohar. Yes, Abigail
Commander
Thorne's character.
Lohar.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have her character of like you knew that she is awesome. She's gonna get the stuff done. But she also has this thing of like, I really don't care about this war. I'm going for this guy. And you see her like maybe that's her that I mean that is her ultimate demise is that
There's
she
a
does
nice
follow.
wrinkle.
Right. But and so you have that thing of like, okay, you're ready. You're got this, and then the dragons come in and you're like, okay, this is you're gonna win the war. And then they pull out, the giant spear, and you're like, okay, well, we've seen this in other seasons. This is what
Yeah.
it means. I think it is crazy, but I mean, it is true to her character. That first shot she nails perfectly, right? And so you're
Yeah.
like, okay, like she is the alpha, right? Um, I think it was a great, great battle. Like it was bloody, it was awesome, it was fire, it was dragons, it was action, it was water fights, going into water, surfacing, beating someone up, like
Just
survival.
bare
Like,
knuckle.
right.
Yeah.
It was just like the one shot I thought was really cool was um when they were fighting on the boat, like after like a lot of fighting, and the floor is just bloody. And people were like,
Hmm.
and they showed one of the guys like slip their feet slipping because it's just blood, and they're like don't have traction, like stuff like that. You go, okay, now
Yeah.
you understand. Like this is it. Like it's just bloody. You're fighting for your life. Um, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. I think to kind of go back to talking about that moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is Game of Thrones, talking about, Prince Baelor and Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like
Yeah,
the moment where the dragon gets hit by the spear
yeah,
and just Jace is falling down,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden coming in to save him. I mean, that was just one of those where it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't think he was done there,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he's just back in the fight. That was really nice to see, which
Yep.
made it really unfortunate whenever his dragon got hit a second time because just knowing how that works,
Yep.
uh, surely he's not surviving a second one. Um, and obviously,
Yeah.
uh,
I
did
I think
not.
Yeah, go.
Kind of going back to you talked about Ken watching Battle of the Bastards. We had a Battle of the Bastards death in this. You remember little Stark
Oh yeah.
running down, getting arrowed down.
So okay.
That was the vibes that I got at the end with our old boy
Oh
Viserys.
yeah, 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 yeah. So okay. The one spoiler I knew from the books, just because everyone on Twitter and everyone was talking about it, was I knew he was going to die. Like I knew when the
I
battle of
didn't,
the
thankfully,
you're
so I was
lucky.
shocked.
Oh, I
I
bet.
was like, "Oh no!"
So from my point of view, I don't know how he died. Like I don't know anything like that. I just knew Battle of the Gullet, like they win the battle basically, but he dies. And which I don't even know if they won the battle. Like I don't know. But like
I
that's
don't.
all
I
I
wouldn't
kind of
say they
thought
did,
about this
honestly.
episode. When he gets escaped, I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't die in this episode. Okay, then they're gonna, because the whole thing of like Condor changing some things probably, and our good guy George isn't the biggest fan of this season, right? And it kind of stepped away. So I was like, maybe this is
Yeah,
one of the changes they're gonna do. And then when what's her name, Raina flies in, I was like,
Bela.
yeah, yeah, sorry. And I was like, no, Raina,
Lot of.
the sister, the younger sister, when she flies in, Bela, I
Oh,
think,
you're right. You're right. You're right.
right. When she
Bela's the yeah.
flies,
Bela's the older one.
when she flies in, I was like, oh, maybe she's gonna take the death of
Hmm.
Jacaerys, and because I was like, maybe they just don't see him as like they need him for the regular season, the rest of the season. Maybe
Hmm.
like they're gonna make her the death, and like basically her sister's gonna kill her, and like when they were dragon fighting, I was like, oh my god, maybe they're gonna
Hmm.
kill the sister's gonna kill the sister, and that's gonna go down a path, and that's what they're gonna change. And I was like, holy crap! And because I think like you said, like she couldn't control her dragon. I thought that was gonna be a plot point and everything, and it technically was in the death of
As,
Jacaerys. But like,
as soon as the sheep stealer showed up, I was like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't know what's who's who."
yeah. And so I was like, she's gonna die, or like her sister, she's gonna kill her sister. I was knew
Mhm.
I was like, someone's gonna die. I just, as time went on, I was like, maybe it isn't Jacaerys. And there is a scene that is from the thing of like, so like the main visual from the George R. R. Martin books of that scene is him like on the plank with arrows in him. Like they did it verbatim.
Uh,
And so
wow.
there's like quotes that are going down, right, of like from people posting on Twitter. So if they're right, they're right. If not, then people are lying. But it's like thousands
Yeah.
died, yet none of the losses were so felt so deeply as that of Jacaerys, Princess of Dragostone and heir of the Iron Throne. And there's a person that just tweeted out, shout out May on Twitter. It says the fact that Lucerys and Jacaerys died on top of their dragons like Targaryens, but were buried at sea like Valerians. And I think that is
Oof.
so cool that like that
And
shows
they
that
weren't even either
right.
like fully,
They were
like
strong. Yeah, it
th-
was like,
yeah,
but that's who they were. And it was just like I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. It was like
yeah,
I I knew it was gonna happen. And when he gets up, because I didn't know the photo until looking on Twitter afterwards. But like seeing him on the raft, I was like, maybe he's good. And then you just see
yeah. I
that
thought it
one
was done. I was like Titanic. We did it right this time.
right.
He
And
made
I
it out.
and one arrow, and you're like, maybe and then you just go bow,
Okay.
bow, and it's just like, and it just kills you inside. And it's just so, I mean, it's just that's Game of Thrones. It's the characters that you don't want to die. You think that maybe will never die, and it's just it's supposed to hit you like that. And it's another son for Rhaenyra that she couldn't do anything about it, right? She has to
And
send
it
her
was his
boys out,
choice to be there.
right? And she's
Yeah.
gonna have to live with that. And how is she gonna interact with that, right? The he's engaged, right, to the other Bela. She's now without a future husband. Like, how does the sister like? There's so much that's gonna come from this, but it's like, but you see like story. Like I also was thinking when you were talking about arrows, uh, and speaking of the Battle of the Bastards, when John's running after his brother and he dies by arrows,
Yeah.
just by like
Yeah.
it's man, it's tragic. And I just that they did no music, they did just the washing of the waves. It was just it was beautiful, man, in a tragic way.
Yeah, and it was, and it's one of those things. I'm kind of trying to go away from the battle just a little bit too.
Yeah,
The setup early on, where obviously even going back to last season, just seeing how Jace and his relationship with his mom has always been one where he's trying to prove himself. He's trying to prove himself. She's trying to protect him because
Yes.
that's her oldest son, and the
Yes.
last one died. And so she's very protective of him, but also he's wanting to take this step forward. And then
Right.
the situation happens where he finally goes, you know what? I'm taking command of this. She's not going to like it when I do this, but I'm going to have the Kingsguard lock her in, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to finally do something to stand up
Yeah.
and show her like I can do this.
And that scene, I want to praise Harry Collette after that, like that scene, because when he locks her in, he's talking to Bela by Bethany Antonia, and the eyes of him are like, let's go, let's do this, and you see that like kind of just craziness in his eyes of like, I've done this,
Hmm.
I could lose a lot from this, but I have to do it, and I'm proving myself, I'm proving like that's his whole life, right? Literally since it was
And
born,
there's a
because
lot of you
like
can give a lot of props to Bela there
yeah,
too, because it's very clear that like I don't think at any point was she like egging to like be a
no.
part of this and go go go, but Jace wanted to do it, and he needed her help,
And
and
that's
she
that
went,
sets up,
and he
yeah.
would have been dead earlier
Yes.
if she wasn't there.
And that's a whole setup from
So
season 1 and 2 of like those two like the kids kind of stick together, that kids then betrothed, but like they were ride or dies for each other because they knew they were in such weird positions of like we're family, we stick together. And like that were more when they were betrothed, it was kind of like, yeah, you're crazy and I know, I can see in your eyes, but yeah, let's go. Let's do this. And so I mean, we don't know who won. We'll find that out in the coming episodes, but their Dragonfire definitely turned the tide, probably, right? Like, and
hmm
helped them in their aid of like, yeah, you sacrificed the dragon, but like, it was just so well done. Harry Collette did such a good job. I wish we got more from this season, but that's Game of Thrones. You never do.
he'll
Um,
be in more stuff.
yeah, that's one of the things. I think whatever the guy from last season of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the other guy that like gets beat up as the young like prince or whatever, um he was in the back rooms.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he's in the back rooms as well, and he's going to do some other stuff. Harry Collette needs to do this, like he needs to be one of the other up and coming British actors, because I think he was really good in this series, and I hope he gets some other stuff because he was well done. So Battle of the Gullet, I guess also the last thing I'll kind of mention is you see, right, her character Lohar die at the hands of the bastard son, not Adam
I
of
think it's
Hole, but
Alan.
yeah, the other one, uh, Alan of Holt. Yes, good job. Um,
Alan. Yeah.
I have it pulled up to my left. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, Alan of Holt
Yeah, the
kills
other one's
her.
Adam. The other one's Adam.
Adam and
Yeah,
Alan, yes. And so you have him kill her, and you right now we have no idea if the sea snake is alive. Right? He falls into the
yeah. That's what
water, and
I
it's
was gonna
him.
bring that up. I have no clue if he died or not.
And I think it's not very Game of Thrones fashion to kill off a major character by him throwing into the water, right? I think he's gonna have an on-screen death because he's that big of a character. But it is a good like end of episode thing of like, who knows? Because they kind of set it
Yeah,
up in a way where like he kills Lohar in the name of his father, kind of, and like, hey, like
and
maybe
Alan's taken
right,
command.
right, and maybe he's now the leader of the fleet and everything, and that I could definitely see them doing that route. But like the fact that we don't know is a really really cool thing. Um, Also, I think it's kind of cool. I'll let you spike after this. I think it was really cool that both commanders, right? So Lohar was like, he's gonna see uh uh the high tide be burning and he's gonna fall. And then
Hmm.
on the other side, he's like, she will follow me, like no matter what, right? And so you have both
Yeah,
sides being like, I
they
know each
know
other,
each
like
other.
right. And
Yeah,
it's like, and they were both right. And we won't know who won the battle between them, but I do think it was like the military minds and the minds of like the wise leaders were correct, and I just think that was pretty cool.
yeah. I think to talk more about Corliss, obviously, I think whenever he was first introduced and the Valerians in general were introduced in season one, just
Yeah,
immediately got my attention because it's just such an interesting design. Obviously, like a house that's so strong to the sea, that's not the Lannisters or
the Greyjoys.
the Greyjoys. And it was just cool seeing a new look. They had the Valyrian connection with the Targaryens, so they're also a little more alien to that
Yeah.
to Westeros compared to everybody else. And just the way that his relationship with his bastard sons, Adam and Alan, have been, it's been interesting because there's a lot of resentment there, obviously, especially with Alan, and just the way that Alan's actor portrays it, like he's very stoic and he's
Yes.
very, you know, he won't say more than he needs to, but he always respects the title of, you know, Corliss being, the sea snake being in charge of the ships and everything.
Right.
And then one of my favorite things this episode was you don't know where Corliss is,
No.
and you know what Adam or Alan yells?
Father.
He yells "father," yeah, which it's one of those things that he's got this tough relationship with him. I'm sure he didn't call him that a ton. I think if you go back and watch the episode, probably, and we've only watched this once, like pretty fresh off
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I would assume that if you go back and watch it, he probably calls him commander or whatever, my lord,
Right.
like any other thing other than father. But the moment that he's like, he might not be here anymore, he's in danger. Like
Right.
at the end of the day, this is my dad, and I got to happy Father's Day, by the way.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day.
um, but yeah, hopefully Corliss is cool. Hopefully he's alive. I liked him. I still like him. I want him to succeed. I think the moment last in the season one where his brother got his head slit in half, that was awesome. That was one of those moments that season where I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yep.
But I one thing I want to talk about a little
Yeah.
bit. It's not we haven't seen a ton of it yet, but it's starting to build. Is the other Targaryen son of Alicent? Uh, Name slipping my mind right now,
Oh,
but he's got the
oh, oh.
blue dragon.
Yeah, it's Tessarion is the blue dragon, I believe. It
Yeah,
is wow.
Darren. Darren,
Darren, yeah,
right?
Darren
Yeah.
oh, I forget his nickname. Darren the I don't
Well,
remember.
because in Night of the Seven Kingdoms there was also a Darren, but I think he was Darren the
Yeah,
Dreamer
Darren the
or something.
Dreamer. Yes, he's Darren
It's
the
not this
Dreamer.
one. Um, but we heard about him a lot last season. I just remember the talk with Gawain, the Allison's brother, I think, just talking about like, oh, like he's not like the other
Yes.
ones. Like he's actually like decent.
Yes.
And just the introduction of him, I think we finally saw him. I think that's who it was.
Yes,
Um,
Darren the
just
Daring
seeing
is
where that
his.
goes. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out. I immediately clocked it, who this was. Name wise, sorry to this actor. I'm not going to try to, I don't want to say it wrong, but my guy Brasso from Andor was, I think either his, like first in command next to him, or he was the
Oh,
soldier right
yes.
next to him. And
Yes.
I was like, immediately, I was like, oh, I'm so happy to see my guy Brasso because, Andor,
When I was watching the
he was
episode
a good
after you
job in
sent
that.
that, and you were like, "Yeah, shout out Andor," and I was like watching the episode, I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, I put two and two together. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's the big one, right? He was kind of bringing
Yeah.
all the troops from Old Town. He has the blue dragon Tessarion, which is another key dragon they need, right? But
Hmm.
like he said, it's Darren the Darren. He's the good guy. He's grew up without all the, the political drama around him. And I think it was interesting where we don't know what the message is. Let's talk about that now. I guess the
Hmm.
whole arching point of like Amond and where he's going and like what the politics behind it, because it is crazy that like technically, I believe now, Allison plan of getting them to getting them to King's Landing is still working. But there was that episode of like, oh, never mind. And now you have that mistrust. And so
Yeah.
and I think I don't know what the letter read, but he listens to his mother, right? And doesn't think anything about it, right? Which also, right, he hasn't seen his mother since he was a child, right?
Hmm.
And without a doubt, he goes, "All right, yeah, we're staying here, we're chilling." I think that's interesting, right? That a mother's love and listening to your mother, that is going to be key, right? And we're not gonna. I don't want to even talk about the whole Amen and his or mother thing, but the fact that his mother issues
Damon
still
Lander.
exactly like that's a good one. Um, but like he still has that motherly like issues and is like
Yeah.
you would think a guy like him who is no doubt one of the smartest, like wisest, cunning guys in the show is like would see through what his mother is doing, but because of the issues he has, at least from right now,
Hmm.
we think, okay, he's gonna listen and he's gonna go, and that leaves them vulnerable, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting to talk about, all of those things about Eamon that go into this. You really see how similar he is, and that's the point of the character. I think a lot of the time is him and Damon are on the same path. Like he's basically Damon if his brother wasn't as kind as Viserys was, or his brother was the opposite kind of king as Viserys. He's Damon if he wasn't stopped by his wife Rhaenyra at this point into just being selfish and taking control of his own. And then obviously you've got those parallels, and obviously the only thing I know going forward is I just know that these guys are on a collision path, uh, Damon and Aemond. I don't know how that ends, but I just know that is probably something that is going to be in game, and I'm excited about that because I think Damon has been one of the just stars of this new show overall.
Right. Absolutely. I'm really intrigued to see where Aemon goes if he ends up going, right? Because there is the whole thing of also like they realized that the ships were coming after Dragonstone, and so you have that line by before he dies, Jaehaerys says, "See, they're trapped." So maybe she doesn't go, even though it is there for the taking.
Hmm.
Like, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to see how it's gonna end up. Which is exciting. That's the reason in the first 15, 20 minutes they had to set this up because
Yeah.
they have so many plot points going. But yeah, if Eamon, because also if Eamon doesn't go, then Kristen Cole dead. Like the Hightower brother gone, right? So it's like those guys are going to be gonzo from the new announced
Yep.
Starks coming into the fold, right? And that was awesome. Of like, let's go
Hmm.
lion hunting. Like that line by Damon of like, we have more lions to hunt.
Yeah.
So good. Um,
Two Lannisters down in this
Yes,
episode.
R.I.P. Lannisters. And like I said to you, whoever is the brother or the son that continues the dynasty, their time will come in a couple hundred years, but
Yeah, they'll be
right now,
fine.
right now it is not their time. Um,
Yeah.
I think it is a good callback for the second Lannister of like, oh yeah, don't go into the drink, your armor will turn you
Oh,
down, and boom, there you go. Which,
they have to shed a bunch of weight,
yep,
push all the Lannisters off.
exactly. So, and then the first one just, head. And so it's like,
Hmm.
I am excited to see because probably episode 5 is where you're going to get Damon versus Kristen Cole, and how is that going to end up, right? And if is Aemon going to be there, right? And so that's going to be exciting stuff. I think it's going to be, there's a lot of just anticipation, right? Where you have the Starks come in, you have all the Riverlands by your side, you have the Dragonstone army. So like the Riverlands is now heavily controlled by um uh
The Black.
the black team. And so what is the Greens going to do, right? If we're going to have to see the result of this water battle, but if they lose that one, they're on the losing side. Vagar is imposing, but like how imposing can you be, right? So it's interesting to see how it's all going to pan out. Aemon is, you going back to Aemon is like you said, they're on a similar path. It's exciting to see where they end up, but also like until the mother scene of where he's talking to his mom, right? You have him going after the eunuch or whatever, and having him like be like, "Where's my brother?" Right? You already have him going through the plans of like,
Hmm.
"I'm a king. What do I need to do to like keep my power and keep being wise, like cunning and being smart?" And then when mom comes in, he loses that and is like proud to be him, right? And then might go off and do this. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he ends up because he could, wherever he ends up, he could lose the war or maybe win it. Like it's going to be interesting to see. But that wasn't like, I think that's really set up. You almost saw Allison's like dream, like her dream for the big win for Rhaenyra and all that come to a, crashing thing where
Yeah,
I
just
don't
collapse.
I don't think she will, right? But does she die because of her actions, right? Like how much playing both sides can she do this season to like just end this,
I
right?
don't think it's a lot.
It
I don't
isn't,
think it
right?
is.
Because
I
even like
I wish that we had been able to do, and I thought about this way too late. Obviously, we're an episode in to go through just character lists this season and be like, all right, who's gone,
Yeah,
who's on track to die. So
right. I
obviously, we've got a few down
and
already.
exactly. Like Helena is a guy or is a girl, sorry, that now is now looking at Allison of like, what are you doing? Right. And so like
Yeah.
that's something that's gonna even though she knows she doesn't like this family, she hates that she's born into it, that's still family at the end of the day, as we've learned in Game of
Hmm.
Thrones. That's all really that matters. And so is she gonna be like, hey Aemond, look what your mom is doing, like or our mom is doing? So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Um
I think. What do you think about everything when it comes to the new Dragon Riders, the
Okay, yeah, that
bastard
was kind of the
ones?
next point is the Dragon Riders. I think all three of them are not going to be loyal. I just have this in my heart. Like one of them is going to cause chaos, and it's going to be interesting who. It is right. It
It's
is
Ulf,
Ulf,
it's Adam,
Adam of
and
Hull,
then
uh,
Hugh
Hugh.
Hammer,
Hugh is Hugh is the like the noble one, right? Hugh is the noble
the
one, or
big
is
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Hugh,
Yeah.
I think is going to be
Ulf
the one.
is the like drunk one.
I think Ulf turns. I don't know when.
Oh
I
yeah,
I just think
that's my yeah. I agree.
he's gonna be the guy, like he said. I'm here for a castle. I want to take what's mine. I don't know what that's gonna result to. I think
Yeah,
Ulf. I think Hull's gonna be, or whatever his name is. Hugh's gonna be the one that stands strong, and then Adam. I have
yeah.
no idea. I can see
I think
he's about
Adam's
this.
gonna do whatever it takes to protect his brother.
Yes. So
And I think we'll see when it comes to whatever happens to Corlys
yes,
Velaryon, like whatever happens to him might sway things. And kind of slightly going back to Alan of Hull, like he's in a situation where he is very clearly set up to be the like master of ships,
right.
the you know king of Driftmark, not officially obviously because
But okay,
Driftmark is gone.
but
Uh,
speaking of that, if you think about it, not to cut you off, but like, I'm guessing we're
yeah,
going to lead into the point of like, if the other brother that comes into with a dragon comes into it, who leads that family? And that's going to be
yeah,
such a weird dynamic and interesting to watch.
yeah, and it's an interesting. It kind of shows. All right, Adam is more Targaryen, and Alan is more Valerian.
Yes,
Which they're both technically Valerian, but at the same time,
right.
that that blood goes through them in a way that it kind of separates them from fire and water.
No doubt. That's going to be the reemergence of Alice Rivers was interesting, right?
Yeah, that one was. What was going on?
Okay, yeah, let's
I
talk about
got
that. You
freaked
saw
out at
like
first by the like shapes.
you saw the goat, which I think is Alice Rivers, is
Yeah,
the goat. You saw
yeah.
the two-legged like deer creature thing
I
that
think
was
that
in
was also her, right?
maybe I don't know. And then so I think but the fact that she's still around is interesting. I did think it was
Hmm.
interesting that like their strategy was like, all right, go use three dragon riders to kill Vagar when he's leaving the castle. I think that was actually a pretty good
Yep.
strategy. It just didn't work. Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be so interesting to see how those play out because like they did, they just kind of were, they were starving for something on the black side and
Hmm.
like they just needed something on their side and you bring in these three dragon riders, but don't come from the pinnacle of like honor and duty. They come from like, we
Yep.
were starving. We were just in
They
the
have to get it out the mud. They have to
right. And so,
fight for everything.
and how much do they fight for what they believe is theirs? And that's going to be the interesting part with them. I think there's a lot of
Yep.
interesting stuff in this episode. I think those are the biggest three kind of storylines is what in the world is Eamon going to do? And then that kind of leads into what I'm going to guess is like the Kristen Cole versus Damon kind of storyline is going to be that thing. The sea battles, what is the reaction of that? And then kind of these dragon riders, what are going to be the impact from them? Those are kind of the three main storylines we're going into next season or next week. Um, Man, that's like you said, 8.5, maybe a 9. I just think like it was just so good. Oh, small thing I wanted to mention. Like we talked about music. The Sneesake, the sea snake song when he's like, bring me my
Yeah.
armor. That like
Yeah.
the whatever the
Chills.
flute or whatever it is so good. It's such a good chilling song. I forgot like because my parents were watching through it. I've like they were when he gets in season one or season two, I believe, when he gets out from the battle, like when battle and he's like getting back from injury and he goes like, but the lanes are protected now, right? They're barricaded or
Yeah.
um whatever the term is. That music plays and I forget like it just gives you chills and it brought me chills
Hmm.
again this time. It's just such a good theme song for that family. Um, I guess now predictions, anything you want to go going forward. What do you think is going to happen? And then we'll play a very quick game of who will die by the end of the season for the rest of the characters.
Yeah. Well, so my prediction is kind of one of those, and I hate to do it. It just seems like at this point he's on borrowed time. I do think our boy Corliss Velaryon is he's gonna bite it probably in the next how long is the season? 8 episodes probably?
I believe so, something like that.
Probably 4 or 5 episodes. He'll be done.
I could
Just I
def
think you set Alan up for this role, and like we talked about that kind of vacuum for the seat on of Driftmark is something that adds a little more conflict between the brothers, and it also seeds some conflict between the sisters, between Bela and Reyna. So we'll see what happens there. What about you?
I am intriguing. I'm I can definitely see Corliss die. I do think it's going to be maybe the type of thing where he's bedridden and has to deal with the two, the sons and how do they and how does that impact and what is the legacy of Driftmark and all that. Like, I could definitely see that being the path. I think we're gonna have an episode of Rhaenyra just being a mess in episode two, right? She
Uh,
loses her eldest son, and does that like in the last season, episode one of where does that make Damon just go do something crazy, right? And does that go
It'd
into
be funny if he did another just
blood and
ridiculously
cheese?
dumb
Yeah,
thing.
like I'm really intrigued to where what he like because like if the Raven was like, hey, come here, we're going to Dragonstone or we're going to King's Landing,
Hmm.
and he is on his way basically right now and deals with like, hey, I lost another son. Like, how does that work? Like, it's gonna be so interesting there.
Nephew,
Yeah, I
nephew's son.
and oh, we haven't even thought about like her character, right? Getting a dragon and like all of a sudden
Yeah,
basically resulting in the loss of your brother-in-law, right?
and just kind of screwing up the whole battle because I feel like
Yes.
her dragon, the two dragons coming in, everything is going all Team Black, right?
Right.
Sheep Stealer coming in with good intentions from Reyna. I mean that was one of the most catastrophic decisions in the last couple seasons.
No
In this
doubt.
this whole show, like that, I think that mistake goes up there with the blood and cheese. It goes up there with Viserys telling Alicent about Aegon the Conqueror's dream and her misinterpreting. Like that started the whole thing, basically. Yeah, like
Right.
I just think that's a huge mistake. Because we talked about it earlier, like who won the battle? I just don't see any way from a morale perspective that Team Black can look at this and think, oh yeah, this was good for us. Like sure they stopped the Triarchy and the Lannisters from breaking the blockade. Maybe the
Right.
blockade is broken.
Yes.
But I just if anyone won, it just was not them. Like they survived mostly, but they took the biggest losses. They
Losing a
took the
dragon
biggest hits.
anytime, it's yeah.
Yeah, and you show it last season. Like whenever Aegon goes down and Rhaenys goes down, they parade Rhaenys' dragon through the streets. All the people see that and they're like, "Oh,
They're,
so these like
they're human.
impossible things can die?
Yeah.
Like maybe these Targaryens aren't as indestructible as we thought."
Right.
So it's just one of those things where it's hard to come back from that.
Absolutely. I want to make one thing. I'm looking through Twitter while you were talking. So
Hmm.
when we're talking about the high tower scene with Tessarion the Blue Dragon and everything, the guy in the armor isn't Darren. Funny
Oh,
enough, that is Ormond. That is the high tower, like I guess, brother of Alicent. Okay, because I
okay.
forget. I'm having to
That's
remember.
because it's Gawain is the redhead one, And so
Yes.
this one is Orman, another brother. Okay.
Right. Because that
Well,
makes sense.
sorry
There's always
everybody that we
yeah,
were wrong about
right. But
Sarah.
so the guy behind him in that you'll have to rewatch it and you'll see it on Twitter after this, but like there's a
The
guy in
like
the green.
Squire.
Yes, the guy that was like the squire behind him that's redheaded is Darren. And so a lot of people are like, I'm just scrolling through Twitter. A lot of people are mad because they're like, why is he redheaded when he should be a, white
Mm,
hair Darren? Because Darren's the guy with the flowing blonde hair, purple eyes, right?
yeah.
And so they're making him ginger. Like,
Yeah. Can I tell you something about that character at first glance?
yeah,
The first thing I thought when I saw that character, and he was like out of focus the whole time, I think,
yes.
right? I thought he looked like the guy who played young Ted, not young Ted, young Mark Wahlberg in the Ted show. For the entire time, I was like, "Is that him?" And then as soon as he starts walking away, I'm like, "Oh no, it's not." But for a while, I was operating under the assumption I was like, "Yeah, that's probably him. Why not?"
Yeah. Yeah, that makes
Wow,
sense. But yeah, a
incredible.
lot of people are just mad about the red hair and hoping it's a red herring to hide that he's a Targaryen and stuff. But like, yeah, that's an interesting part. But yeah, I think one thing I'll quickly mention since there's not much to it is the Laris and Aegon scene of like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, he's the biggest snitch because all he cares about is survival and just gives up Aegon, which probably in that moment is the right strategy of just like keeping them
Yeah,
alive. But um I'm just in, because like you said, if they somehow there's no way they do, but if they get all the way to Dragonstone and then she just kills him at the end of the season, like that's gonna be such a funny result for Aemon of just or Aegon. It's just like, yeah, hey, you're done, buddy. Like your whole life sucked. You got your
you
burned by
bought
your
yourself an
mother.
extra couple months.
Right. It's going to be so interesting to watch. But like I told you, best snitch in the house is Laris and Laris Strong, and he does it again. So intrigued to see where that is. There's no way they get the Dragonstone, in my opinion. Like they're going to try to get on a boat. Laris is going to get out of there somehow, and they're going to go on in their merry way. But like, very, very interesting. I also, one last thing I'll say is like, I do think it is interesting, even though all he is burned and everything, and he knows he's not the rightful heir like Aegon still can't knee for her. I think that's such a
Yeah,
prideful thing where literally I am scarred by this belief that I am the rightful heir. I still won't kneel. I think that's just a very interesting thing.
yeah.
So
I'm gonna add one more
yeah,
prediction.
go for it.
We will see. I don't know how much hair, but we will see a platinum blonde Targaryen haired Alan of Hull this season.
That's
It might coincide with the death of Corlys. I think it's going to be something where he fully embraces, okay, I might
ex-
not have had the name, I might not have had the title at first, but this is who I am, and I'm not gonna,
yeah,
be, mad about it
no
anymore.
doubt. I love that. All right, last thing. We'll get out of here because I think this is pretty much a good hour. All right. We're gonna go down the cast list and you're just gonna say they're gonna stay alive this season or die this season. Okay?
Mm, okay,
Okay. All right, let's get through it. Okay. Damon Targaryen.
he's good.
He's good. I agree. Kristen Cole.
I also think Kristen Cole's good. How many? Well, hold on. Question here. Do you know how long this show's supposed to go? One more season, or is this
I think season 4 is where they want to wrap it up.
okay? I think Kristen Cole is begrudgingly. I think he's going to survive another season. I don't know how. He's kind of like a cockroach that makes a bunch of bad decisions and
Yes.
somehow keeps failing up and not dying.
True.
So whenever he does die, I think it's going to be a death that they save, and they like really they know we hate this character, and
Right.
so when he dies, they're going to kill him in a pretty satisfying way, hopefully.
I agree.
But
I disagree though. I know I just said agree. I disagree. I think it's a penultimate episode death for Kristen Cole this season. I think it's
okay,
like
I like that.
I think it's going to be end of the season, but I think he finally dies. I think he has this like arc of like, dude, there's dragons. I'm not living. Like, I just think like that's going to be his arc, right? You
Hmm.
see in this season, like his only lines are like, he's like, dude, like that guy's doing terrible things. Stop him. And he's like,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter, right? And so I think that's going to be his result of like, I'm just a pointless death in the story.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I remember there. He had a pretty like profound quote in the last season where it was kind of showing that start of his arc of
yeah,
Yeah, I just it at this point we've messed up. We've gone too far. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
So I think you probably end up will be right, and I am going to stick with my answer
No,
just
that's a great answer.
because.
All right.
But yeah, I agree with you actually.
Corliss Valerian, the sea snake.
Yeah, he's dead sadly. Rest in peace, my
I
goat.
agree. This is easy. Rhaenyra, I think she survives. She kind of
Yeah, she's
has to
good.
be.
Yeah,
Alicent, I think she survives. Uh, do you disagree?
I don't. I like we talked about with Allison. There's a lot of her playing both sides that I do not think is making her long for this universe, this world. So
Okay.
I'll say that Allison's gone. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
And
Especially
now I'm
since like the
thinking in my
peril,
checkbox, I'm like, I can't pick too many main
right.
characters to die, or else that's way too many.
They do it, but they don't do too many of them. I agree.
Yeah.
The White Worm, I think she's a survivable character. I think she just stays
Yeah,
around.
she's fine.
Uh,
Yeah, she'll be all right.
Grandmaster Orwell, the guy we see at the beginning that is almost beheaded.
Mm,
I think he's a
sure, he'll
survivable.
die.
I like you said, he could die just because someone out of rage kills him, or he just
Yeah.
survives to survive, right?
Hmm.
One character is on this list that we didn't even see this episode. Otto Hightower. What is he doing?
Mm. I hope he's up to some fun stuff. I really like Otto Hightower. I think
Right.
that's one of my favorite characters in this
I
show.
agree. He's
I
so
think he'll
bad, but he's
survive. I think that here's my new prediction that just came up right now.
okay.
Allison dies. Otto comes back to King's Landing, and he's on his Tywin Lannister arc,
Hmm.
where he was doing a lot of things earlier, but now he's just like, you know what, I got to take command of this. I don't think he's going to take full command because obviously his relationship with Aemond is not the strongest. That's why he's gone.
Right.
But at the same time, I think there will be he'll have a strong presence in the final season. That's my thought.
There you go. I'm intrigued. I have a prediction because the next person underneath him on this list is Laris Strong. I wonder if them two see each other in sometime this season as they're on the run. Both of them are on the
Mm,
run. That's a prediction I'm gonna kind of make. Is
that
they're
could
gonna
be
be on.
cool. I could
I think
like
that would be
that.
cool. Being like, oh, look who it is, that type of thing. I'll say he survives for now. Laris Strong,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think he's a survivor. I think that's a season three,
yeah,
episode five, or season four death.
yeah.
Lannister
He
gone,
might survive the whole thing. I think.
dude. Yeah. Aemon Targaryen. I think that's a season four death. I think you have to have the
Absolutely.
season four will be the battle of Daemon versus Aemon somewhere,
Yeah.
and I think that's
hmm
gonna be season four. Aegon Targaryen.
I think he survives but
I think he
I don't know. I'm kind of
survives because he's gonna go on the run, and they're just not gonna find him
yeah,
this season. And
yeah.
then he might
I
have
just
this
know
like
what he does.
I'm intrigued because like it's gonna be interesting. Helena, I think she
Yeah,
survives.
she's good. Yeah,
Bela,
she
I
would be
think
a shocking death though.
Helena would be a shocking death. If okay, I'm not saying it would, but if Rhaenyra storms King's Landing and she's inside, does she let her live?
Yeah, because they well, I think she does because she agreed with Allison about this whole thing, and the only one that she's taken is
Yes.
Aegon
Yeah. So
and
intriguing.
probably Aemond if
Yep.
he's there, but the thought process is he's not there. But
Agreed. The two Targaryen sisters, Bela and Rhaena. I think both of
mm,
them
I think they're
survive
fine.
because they're
I
running
think
they're
that
running
if
out of
any of
side
them
characters for
dies,
this family. They're killing
yeah,
them all. So
there's not enough Targaryens left,
yeah.
or maybe there's
Okay.
too many.
The two Hole brothers, I think they both survive.
hmm
Um,
If
I
anything, I think Adam might die.
yeah, I could
I
see
do think
that.
it's an Alan. I think Alan is becoming the main one
Yes,
overall, and he'll be the biggest player. I
agreed.
just think Adam being one of like a few Dragon Riders,
Right,
uh, I think the Dragon Riders are the most likely to not be on the board at the end of this. You know?
agreed, 100%. Hugh and Ulf, I think both of them survive for season four.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Gawain Hightower, I think he dies in the same battle that Christian Cole dies. So whenever that
Hmm.
is. So yes, I do
Yeah,
think
I think I'll be sad when Gawain dies.
he's a good guy. He's a
I
good
think he was all
character.
right.
He's the the other
He's just on the wrong
Ormond
side.
Hightower. Like he's the guy
Yeah,
like I come from a normal family, or not from the family that normal, but from
yeah,
where they're back home normal. And
yeah.
so like I'm just trying to survive with honor, and he's just not.
Hmm.
By the way, speaking of him, shout out that Freddie Fox. He's great in Slow Horses. Go check it out on Apple TV. Great season.
Freddie Foxbear.
Uh, that's basically it. I mean, you have Alice Rivers still around, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
That's basically it. Yeah. I mean, those I mean, so in that hypothesis, right? You would have a Kristen Cole death this season. You
Hmm.
would say an Allison Hightower death this season. Um
Corliss Velaryon.
Corliss and one like a
Eh, Gawain and
yeah, going
Kristen
like
Cole.
that's a rough
That's
season.
a big receipt.
Yeah. So all we can do is kind of stay tuned, and I think that's a great way to end it. Any closing thoughts for you?
No, I'm just excited for the next one. I know that the way these shows work is that next week it'll kind of not like quality wise, but it'll dip. We'll take
Yeah.
a breath. We'll deal with the consequences, and then obviously there'll be some interesting
Yeah.
consequences and
Like
things that come from that.
episode 4 or 5 is another big battle, and then we end one with like 7 or 8.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
find out.
I just hope this season is complete, and
Yes,
that's all I have to say.
absolutely. And I think that's a great way to end it off. Appreciate you, Zach, for doing this. We will be back
Yep,
next
thanks,
Sunday
Walker.
for doing this. Um, like, subscribe, comment if you want. Let's talk more Game of Thrones. It's always a great time with the one of the best TV franchises in the world and all
USA,
time. Yes, go USA. We play
Flo
Turkey.
Balogun,
EA. Hmm?
Flo Balogun,
Shut up, Flo Battle again.
Balloon DR.
Absolutely. All right. That's it. Stay tuned and see you later.